I know the job market is hot, 7 people for 10 jobs. So you might be thinking, well, I'm going to secure the position whether my interview skills are on point or not. But this is not what we're seeing. We're seeing amazing talent not securing an offer because their virtual interview was really poor. So we collected our clients' feedback and we're sharing with you here some of the issues that we're seeing. So we've seen candidates in their interview, they are driving, they are cleaning and clanking around their kitchen, they're walking, they are addressing others in their household, they're addressing their pets, they're answering their cell phone is dinging and ringing, and you know the drill. So, I have dogs that bark, I get it, but for an interview, try to find a babysitter, a dog sitter if you can, maybe a neighbor, someone can help you out. Turn your cell phone off and just, request of your household, if possible, that they give you just a little bit of quiet so you can really show your best in the interview. If you do have to have noise, perhaps you have a sick child at home or there's some work being done, just let the interviewer know right at the start, very professionally, that you're setting the call up for success. You want to honor your interview time, but something is up at home and everyone will understand, but do set that up if you can. Now, it's true, candidates don't remember their dates, their roles, their participation in a project. And so it is your resume. It's important that you know it. It's your time to shine. Definitely be boastful. Let them know, what did you achieve in your last role? At the same time, don't overstretch, because the truth, it always shows in the interview when the truth is a little overstretched and it creates a bit of a fumble. So a last reminder, just sidebar, is make sure LinkedIn and your dates and your roles on LinkedIn match with what's on your resume. That's important, so that doesn't create an awkwardness. Now, next up, charge your laptop, make sure your camera works, go where your internet is best. We realize that sometimes your internet might be unstable, get it, but find a library, a cafe, a friend's house. If it really is poor, see what you can come up with, and do test out, MS Teams and Zoom and Google Meets and everything like that, to make sure everything is working, especially that people can hear you. Now, staying focused is really important. It is virtual and the interviewer doesn't know what you're looking at. So suddenly we see people in an interview and they're facing over there, or they're completely, they have 2 cameras set up or 2 computers set up, and they don't stay focused on what's in front of them. Do try to stay in it, and also be ready. If you're asked for your portfolio or your references, you could always do a screen share if you're given permission to do that, and share some information. Now, let's just go on the human side here. Of course, you want to be personal, but sometimes just because you're at home and your interviewer's at home, it's not time to go down that slippery slope of everything that ever happened to you. And we do see that happening more now than ever before. Definitely important to keep it focused on the professional side of the interview. And of course, answer the questions that make sense to create a dialogue, but just don't let it, digress down that slippery slope. And in terms of your background, do all you can to clean it up. You might want to blur it. If you are going to put an image behind you, keep it relatively simple, not too personal or, your favorite band. And we did have a situation recently where someone had their bra kind of hanging off a chair in the back. We thought it was kind of funny. So did the client. But, a bra doesn't really belong in the interview, even though, bras are normal, but not in the interview. So, clean up the background if people are going to see it. And a couple of quickies, definitely put the light in front of your face. It matters. It brings attention to you. Wear some business clothing. It brings you that feeling of being in a professional setting. It'll make you feel better. It brings your game face. Definitely sit at your desk if you can. Grocery shopping and carpooling, not the time for that. On the screen, would love to see your real name, your full name, so that the person can speak to you as yourself. I'm Catherine. If I put my initials, they wouldn't know who I was. Or if I put perhaps a short form or nickname, like Kitty Cat or something, that's not going to work. So definitely keep your name on the screen. Being on time is important. You don't have to be there super early. That's not going to be useful sitting in a waiting room online. But at the same time, don't be late. How awkward is it when you're waiting for someone to show up? It's even a bit odd when you're online. So try to do that. Don't eat your lunch during your interview or whatever you're eating. Just pause it. It's kind of awkward for the other person who's there with you. Be ready to ask about culture, be ready to ask about the organization. What are they up to for 2022? Put that best foot forward. You're still equally prepared despite being home. And of course, the last thing is be personable. We see sometimes that there's something about the division between, you're on a screen, so there's a little bit less personality, but it's incumbent on you and the individual interviewing to kind of create that connection. So be intentional about that. And by making eye contact and staying related to the individual on the screen, you will create that possibility. Last thing I'm going to say is just about interruption. Very hard to know who's talking next sometimes in this context. If you're not sure, you could wait and say, oh, can I go ahead? Yes. And then, go ahead and answer the question. It is difficult in that way. So just listen carefully for the cue that the person has stopped so that you can then, pipe in. And after all, I think the last thing I'd say is just remembering that a virtual interview is really just an interview. So turning it into that best opportunity is just so important. And I wish you the best interviews towards that best offer. Thanks.